For those of you that are not Chamorro speakers, I would like to make it clear to all of you, a lot of times when you come to see us, or when you see us walking into any specific occasion, the first thing that comes out of your mouths would be, are you guys performing? We do perform and we do entertain, but we also do traditional blessings, something that occurred to our people 4,000 years ago when they first arrived. They just didn't chew betel nut and sat underneath the tree and did nothing. They chanted, they danced, they celebrated. And this is just a touch of what you're going to see within the next 45 minutes that I'm supposed to be with you in terms of the Dance Academy. It's the same token as if we were all going to gather and all of us were in the church and started to sing, "O Maria, Nanan Mahagov." Everybody will join in. That's a religious song. It's a blessing. But prior to religion coming to the island, we existed and we chanted and we blessed. And what you heard is a blessing and not a performance. And we've been trying to educate especially our Chamorro people who have been disconnected because of the colonial periods that have occurred through all our history, beginning with the Spanish influence, the Americans, the Japanese, and then the Americans. We disjointed ourselves from our culture. And one of the things, as I listened to a lot of the presenters that presented both today and yesterday, was the meaning authentication. Authentication to me, in some aspects of our culture, is next to impossible, especially the performing arts. The performing arts, the genocide that occurred completely wiped out that aspect of our culture. I took the time to spend almost 40 years researching that aspect of our culture to try and re-establish it back into our island, because the icon of the Latte Stone, the Luzon, the Matati, the Chamorro language itself tells me that the Spaniards did not bring us in here with our galleons, with their galleons when they were exploring the eastern areas. So that in its sense tells me that we existed. And therefore we celebrated birth, we celebrated harvesting, we celebrated marriage, and we celebrated the power of the women, the matrilineal society. And as I endeavored to recreate that aspect of our culture that was genocide, of course the Spanish influence occurred, as well as the contemporary, which is the American influences that have come in. So every one of us knows how to do the cha-cha and the jitterbug and the twist. Every one of us is familiar with those dances, and everybody are familiar with the batsu, the bailan sotes, the bailan iguas, which is Spanish influence. But when you hear things like bailan linala, bailan uritao, bailan fisga, bailan fadzal, bailan gaputulu, these are dances that, in my own opinion, existed. And all I did, I'm not authenticating, I'm recreating and re-establishing what existed and was lost. And that's what I've done with the program, beginning with Tautotano Cultural Dancers, and now with the organization Pa'a Tautotano, that umbrella all the houses or the guma within Guam, Luta, Tinian, Saipan, Long Beach, California, San Diego, California, up in Washington State and over in Texas. These are gumas, or performing art houses, that perpetuate the Chamorro culture in its history, from the ancient aspect to the Spanish aspect to the contemporary. And throughout our presentation, we enhance the language because we constantly use it. Okay? Now, in terms of the Japanese Academy, it's sad that I have to travel to another country to find people that are interested in our songs, dance, and chants. Now, it was very nice to hear my group chant, but how many of you guys were really familiar with the chanting that we did? From Katinkulu to Oasaina to Hinatsan Ilati. How many of you, can you raise your hands and tell me if you're familiar? Okay. But how many of you are very familiar with O Maria Nanan Magov? Raise your hands. See, look at the difference. Okay? You're familiar. Now, if we consistently teach our people, which I'm doing now with a lot of the generations that are growing up, Can you imagine how beautiful it is if we all walked in and just all stood up and say, "O asay na, o aniti, ninumai happiness ngun," and we all sing it just the same way that we sing, "O Maria, nanan magov, zansen ma," right? Wouldn't it be beautiful? Okay, that's something that we need to do in order to merge the community and the visitor industry. That's something that we need to do. And the reason for that is because any country that you travel, the first taste of any culture is your performing arts. That's the first thing you're going to see, whether you see them at the airport or the commercial port or the port where the ships land, or in a restaurant or in a hotel.